Everyone, welcome back to another video here at Justin's Fish Room. Today, Nick and I are out collecting a bunch of botanicals. We have a whole bag of flowering eucalyptus nuts and leaves. And this is what one of them look like. So, I mean, you can have a look at the one behind you. These beautiful big flowers, that's how you can kind of tell that this is a flowering gum. And these nuts are the things that we're mostly after. So these are full of tannins, and once these are green, but once these fall on the ground and empty, similar to something like that, you put that in your aquarium, like your shrimp aquarium or whatever, and it releases the tannins and acts as a little hide for shrimp to breed in, or like fry if you have like a pistogrammas or something like that. So yeah, Nick and I just going around and collecting some
We'll show you guys which ones we're going to collect, and which ones are safe, and then at the end we'll give them a little review and tell you which ones are our favourites.
Perfect.
And which ones are the best for each type of fish and shrimp and things like that. So,
and all of these are safe, so you can kind of use this as a guide
exactly
to go collect your own stuff. Alrighty, so we're here at the banana tree, just in the area, and
your local banana tree.
Yeah, someone's banana tree, and we're just doing them a service by taking off the dead fronds. Hopefully they don't need them for fish, but
or to eat or something weird.
Yeah. So yeah, basically you just want, again, the dead ones, because there's a lot of sugar in these leaves. They're really fleshy and they're very full of water, and if you put that in your aquarium, it will go off and it just wouldn't be good for the fish. So these dry ones are what we want.
You can see them all like hanging off.
Yep. And so, like, Nick knows this very well, because we've tested it. These don't release a lot of tannin, but they're very good with controlling or bringing down pH. So especially if you've got like wild discus, or if you have a fish that breeds in lower acidity, like lower pH, these are really good.
Yep.
And they take a long time to biodegrade, so it's just like a constant good looking dry leaf that you can have in your fish tank. Looks natural, looks good. So we're going to collect a few of these. We're not going to completely raid this poor person's banana.
We are, but we won't tell everyone that we are. But
we won't tell anyone. So, but yeah. Alrighty, so we're right by a main road, so I'll speak up. This here is a guava tree, as you can see. Some beautiful guava fruits. We're not after the fruits today. We're actually here to collect the dead leaves at the bottom. Again, same deal. We're just after the ones that have dried up on the branches and have fallen off. So there's a heap just down there from the rain. We'll have a look at. So you can see all of these. So I actually saw on a shrimp breeding website that this is really good, as well as mulberry leaves, and that's why I've been harvesting so many mulberry leaves and just giving them to Nick, because he's got so many shrimp. But yeah, we're just going to collect all of these. Perfect. Making sure that we collect the correct leaves. So, there's a few pine trees here from an old tree farm, and so Nick did us a favor and collected a bunch of them as well. Also full of tannins. We'll have to boil them a bit just to disinfect, get rid of any insects or anything. But yeah, so
you can use those as well.
Definitely. Alrighty, so we're here at a beautiful mulberry tree. It's not so beautiful at the moment because it's losing all of its leaves because it's winter here in Australia. Well, it's approaching winter. Again, can't stress it enough. You're only getting the dead leaves that have got all of the sugars out, especially when it comes to mulberry. Mulberries are like full of sugar. And if something eats that sugar, it's just really not good for the digestive system in your fish. So these are dry, like you can crunch them, they're that dry, and they're kind of just scattered on the floor. So your best bet is to get the ones on the floor. Don't go to the tree unless there's like a few dead leaves on a branch. And yeah, we'll just collect them now.
Righty. Well.
Yeah, I mean, this is our haul. How much did it cost?
Free.
No, that's good.
So we've got, I think, 5 different. Wait, I just heard a sound. Weird.
it's like sunset now, so the lighting's a little bit worse. But we've got 5 different types of botanicals here. We'll go through them all, and we'll list off what's good for what. You reckon?
I think so.
And like the purpose of each one, I guess too. So
Yeah, I mean it's a guide. It's like not limited to.
yeah,
Like you know.
these are all the ones that are easy for us to get, and they all tick the boxes of what we need. So for instance, like these 2 leaves here are really good as food sources for shrimp. So
That's the guava and the mulberry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then we've got the banana leaves,
Yep.
which are great for lowering pH. So we've got a ton of them. We've got our pine cones, which are good for tannin and I guess like just a home.
Yeah. For shrimp
Yeah.
and that sort of thing.
Then
That's-
these, what are these? Flowering gum leaves,
Yep.
which are good for the eucalyptus oil.
Yep.
So antibacterials,
And antifungal. Yeah.
which also I think the banana leaves might help with it a little bit,
I think so. Yeah.
but these will probably help the most. And then the flowering gum pods for,
It's a double whammy.
yeah, it's like a double whammy there. So you get the oil and the hide for the shrimp.
Yeah. So it eventually hollows out, and then they can go in there, and yeah, it's kind of like a well-known thing for shrimp.
Yeah. So, okay. So we've got the 5 types. We've got mulberry leaves, banana leaves, guava leaves, pine cones, flowering gum pods, and flowering gum leaves.
Yeah.
So, what are your favourites?
My personal favorites are the banana fronds
Yeah.
and the mulberry leaves.
Yeah.
Mostly because those are the only 2 I really use. And that's because I have like L397s and the mulberry leaves are like, they love them.
Yeah.
So they do biodegrade really quickly, so if you've got snails in your tank,
It's just,
like,
yeah, like in a day.
fine.
Like, yeah, really quick.
whereas the bananas are like a lot more like structurally sound, and like they won't biodegrade within a few days. Like it'll take them like 2 or 3 weeks probably.
Oh, like probably a month, yeah.
Yeah, and that's good for like the acidity, keeping the fish healthy.
The mulberry leaves, and I suspect the guava leaves are going to be the same. They're really good for pleco fry as well. So I threw these in with my peppermint fry, and the peppermint fry smashed them. And it's got, when they go in, they form a lot of biofilm on them,
Yeah,
and the plecos just smash that biofilm. It's so good for their gut and kickstarting their gut. So you can really use those leaves well for that, like a really good food source
yeah,
for a lot of like herbivoreal fish as well as wood grasping fish
yeah.
and shrimp as well.
Like I guess our tanks are just full of like microorganisms,
Yeah.
and these are like magnets for those microorganisms, which is just full of protein, full of like really, like brilliant goodness,
Yeah.
nutrients. And like you said, like I used it for the L201 fry, and they're just like,
Yeah,
you know,
it's perfect for them. Like, I mean, what would they eat in the wild? So,
exactly.
um,
One thing you gotta do.
I love, my favourites would probably be the mulberry leaves because they're efficient, so you can just throw them in and they're gone. You don't have to worry about them staying around too long. And the flowering gums. I've used the other gums before, but the flowering gums I think are going to be great because they've got the eucalyptus oil.
Yeah,
So I really like the idea of having the antifungal in there
yeah,
to help, obviously, like, so the fish don't get bacterial infections. And
I mean, look at the size of the leaves. Like,
yeah, I mean,
they,
and
they would look good, hey, like in an aquarium.
yeah, I like that. Yeah, they look good, but they do last a long time.
Yeah.
So they're probably like a 1.5 month to 2 month leaf.
Yeah,
Like, I reckon the banana fronds could be pushing that 2 month,
Yeah.
depending on what is in there eating it.
definitely.
I'm keen to see how these pods go. I mean, they look cool, so
Yeah.
they could be just good aquascaping decoration. But yeah, I guess we should talk about probably like how to treat this stuff because you can't just throw this in straight out of the wild.
Yeah. So, I mean, we like collecting, for example, these guys, you like have a look in there and there's like a little bit of fungus, a little bit of like spider web and nests and that sort of thing. So you gotta kind of boil it down. A lot of stuff you can just wash as well. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to boil it. Like if you're worried about something living in here, probably boil it.
Yeah.
Just to kill it, disinfect it. And like banana fronds, nothing's really growing on that. You can just wash it down, make sure it's like really clean.
Yeah. So we're going to be boiling which ones, do you reckon?
These ones,
Yeah.
pine cones these, and probably the mulberries as well.
We'll just dip them in.
Yeah, just put them in for a little bit, let them, you know, enough to kill any like fungus or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, just pull it out.
Perfect. All right. Well, I guess we're gonna do that on camera, or we'll just do it off camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit like it'll be pretty tedious for us to do. It's not rocket science, so I think we'll probably leave the video here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that wraps up the video.
Perfect.
Sweet.